Hej, välkomna tillbaka. Vi ska fortsätta i programmet. Nu ska vi lyssna på ett annat företag egentligen från den här sektorn och det är Brighter. Bolaget kommer presenteras av Henrik Norström, vd. Välkommen Henrik.
Tack så mycket. Thank you everyone for listening. I'll do this presentation in English as we have a few followers that do not speak Swedish as well, and I hope that everyone of our Swedish followers understand what I say. Otherwise, we'll have to do this also with some translation. We, the Brighter Group, are on a mission to drive transformation towards a more efficient and sustainable health and welfare system by addressing some of the most pressing global issues in healthcare: inefficiency, rising costs, and limited resources. And I say group because Brighter has expanded this past year and now comprises several entities operating within highly relevant areas. Brighter's strategy is focused on delivering growth, investing in our existing businesses and technology to drive synergies and profits across the group. Essentially, an investment in Brighter's innovation is an investment in technology's ability to improve people's lives. All of our solutions have a direct positive effect on people's everyday quality of life. We also create long-term possibilities for a wide group of interests: healthcare providers, authorities and governments, insurance companies and employers, the pharma industry, clinical research organization, and academic bodies. Actiste, our connected and data-driven diabetes care as a service, developed to simplify the everyday life of people living with diabetes. It's especially designed to help patients adhere to their treatment guidelines and reduce long-term complications, while also easing the burden on healthcare systems. This is Brighter's core solution and has been under development since 2015. And now it's finally ready for the market, a multi-billion market opportunity. Acumbo. We've made a strategic investment in Acumbo. They offer Sweden's first digital healthcare service that is specially adapted for patients with hypertension, enabling highly efficient and personal remote healthcare support. Acumbo is currently developing a similar service for diabetes in cooperation with Brighter, which will be based on the Actiste solution. Acumbo has had a really strong year with rapid growth of users, and there are many synergies between diabetes and hypertension. Nectarine Health, advanced fall detection made simple and easy, outperforms traditional alternatives by applying artificial intelligence and deep learning, introducing a new level of productivity and peace of mind, to be launched in the US in the first quarter of next year. And Camanio, our subsidiary Camanio, enables a smooth transition to safe digital care at home. Their platform forms a hub for sensors and connected devices in the home and connects them with all involved care stakeholders. They also provide physical aids in the form of robotics and welfare technology services, so carers can tailor the digital ecosystems in the hopes of people with care, who need care. We believe a data-centric and personalized approach is key to provide smarter care. Here's a visualization. We call this holistic approach the benefit loop. It's really about the data and enabling the healthcare providers to gain insights about the patients and provide continuous feedback from remote so the patients can reach better results over time, in between physical checkups, moving high-quality healthcare away from physical boundaries. With our services, we're well positioned. Yes, exactly. And here's the visualization of another sector that we have addressed, the care and support in the home. We provide innovative and smart aid at home through devices, robotics, care alarms, and more, but also adding another layer of digital services and platforms on top of that to reach better results and provide opportunities for care staff, healthcare providers, family, and other relevant stakeholders. With our services, we're well positioned for long-term growth. operating in the intersection of growing long-term trends at global scale, driving an unavoidable need for transformation in line with our business portfolio and IP strategy. At this point, in order to be able to cope with the development in society, innovation is a must. A decreasing group of working-age people have to serve a growing elderly population in need of more care and support. The only way to manage that is to increase efficiency, because we have limited resources in society. This is a global shift that is unavoidable, and the potential in addressing these problems are massive. Earlier this year, the world changed. Almost overnight, the COVID-19 pandemic strained health systems all over the world to the breaking point. Although it's been a horrible situation, and is a horrible situation, the crisis accelerated transformation in our society. One way of thinking of this is using the classical S-curve pattern as shown in this slide. COVID-19 was the start of the new S-curve. Digital and connected care has received an incredible boost, and we believe that this is something that will continue in the aftermath. It's simply an inevitable shift that has now been accelerated and gained further legitimacy. Brighter is diversified by geography, sector and service, creating an ability to offset risk and challenges in one area with opportunities and growth elsewhere. As you can see here, the group has a global approach with operations all over the world. While we're focusing on digital elderly care solutions and support in Europe and North America, our digital healthcare service for diabetes is primarily launched in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, where several market approval processes are concluded or underway. We're still in the beginning of this journey, and we're just now getting ready to actually scale up and reach revenue and growth. 2020 has been a very successful year for us, and we've reached several important milestones. We've introduced the Actiste diabetes service in Sweden in May and launched a small internal pilot project with ambassador programs in connection to that, allowing us to start harvesting valuable insights and data from Actiste users. We also initiated a partnership with the provincial government of West Java in Indonesia to start introducing Actiste service in that region, covering 50 million people. And now in November, we received 2 really important market approvals of the service in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, which are key markets for Brighter. This means we can now officially enter those markets. In addition to that, our subsidiary Camanio recently won a nationwide framework agreement with the Swedish Association of Local Authorities and Regions, Sveriges kommuner och regioner, SKR, regarding care alarms, which could generate substantial revenues. In terms of focus right now, we have finally reached this crucial phase after many years of hard work, commercialization and scale-up. Camanio is already up and running and becoming more successful every day. They actually had a record sales day earlier in November, with sales reaching 1 million kronor in one day. Nectarine Health will launch its advanced AI remote care system in the US during the first quarter of next year. And we're also well underway to commercialize the Actiste diabetes service in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. And this is a really big deal for us due to the large potential, and Actiste being our initial core solution. The market approvals that we've received just a couple of weeks ago in the UAE and Saudi Arabia allows us to move forward with our plans, and we are 100% focused on securing revenue-generating contracts. And here's an overview of the current status and upcoming milestones. We're live in Sweden on several fronts, and actually today we released a press release about our first collaboration with health centers in the city of Särö in the west coast of Sweden. This is one of obviously many to come, in my view at least. And we've just received market approvals for Actiste in our primary target markets in the Middle East and in the process in Southeast Asia. This means that our main focus will be on expanding into those areas in the foreseeable future and over the next few years. We're very ambitious, with ambitious goals in that sense, and aim for a 30% market share in 5 years from market entry. In parallel, our subsidiary Nectarine Health will launch in the Nectarine solution in the very large US market early 2021. And we also have a whole new solution, the Actiste Mini, which will be launched next year, widening our addressable market in the diabetes segment from insulin-dependent diabetes to also include non-insulin dependent diabetes. So we can address the whole diabetes community, approximately 460 million people worldwide. So we're really in a phase where everything is starting to move in the right direction. What lies ahead in the long term? Well, the healthcare data industry is growing at a rampant rate and is estimated to reach $68 billion by the end of 2025. And we believe we can be one of the leaders in the development with our technology platform, IP portfolio, and connected solution. With this rapid growth in healthcare data, organizations are employing analytical tools, artificial intelligence, and machine learning techniques to derive data-driven insights in order to reduce healthcare costs, enhance revenue streams, develop personalized medicine, and manage proactive patient care. Brighter aims to be a pioneer in this field. We want to empower patients and improve outcomes in healthcare and clinical research by introducing cutting-edge data sharing platforms on which individuals and organizations are able to monetize and trade medical information and health data, all with the user's privacy in mind, of course. Our IP portfolio also generates opportunities and licensing opportunities. Brighter is continuously working on expanding its IP and product portfolio. And we currently have around 30 granted patents and 35 patents pending on a global scale, related to our core technology, microneedles, artificial intelligence, and more. Brighter has been around for a while, as some of you probably know, and we're now roughly 100 team members. It's a very experienced team prepared for the expected growth journey that we've worked so hard to achieve during the past few years. Thank you. That's right.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Henrik.
Thank you, Mats.
Interesting presentation. A lot of things going on in your company. We have had a lot of questions from the audience, so maybe I should pick up a couple of them.
I think my water. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. No worries. We have plenty of time.
Yes.
Yeah. I think one question, a lot of curiosity around this. I mean, you have had some scandals this year in your board, and several people. You have made some changes. How has that affected your company, do you think?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm very happy over the current situation in the board, both with the board that we elected in July, at the end of July, and also with the election of our new chairman, who starts in January. Yeah. And it's really a board that has a true engagement, the true capabilities that we as a company really require. So I'm very satisfied over that, and it's really something that I personally benefit from as the CEO of the company and throughout the leadership team. Yeah. Of course, any type of situation that disrupts the normal course of business in a negative way, in that sense, is something that affects the company. I mean, if you Google Brighter, everything comes up, and it's something that you can't really depend on. From a company perspective, we made a survey internally in the company about the employer satisfaction rate, and actually the score was very high. even before and after. So from that perspective, I think it's actually hasn't really had an impact. It's probably more impacted me and my perspective on things. The financial community, of course, the share price has been negatively impacted because of that. But it's something that, given the new situation of the company with the new board or the existing board and the foreseeable future, I think it's something that we'll overcome. But definitely it did affect us. I didn't have a summer holiday, for example.
No, but you think that's behind you now?
Yes,
with
absolutely.
the new board. Yeah, I think we got a lot of questions when it comes to your expectations on orders from your to your company. What could you say about that?
Well, I think, as I said here, I mean, we're very well lined up now. We've done a lot of investment over the past years, which is something that I really appreciate our shareholders to have contributed to. No doubt, we've raised a lot of money through our faithful shareholders and also new shareholders. I think that the market approvals that we've received now in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, finally, it took a substantial longer period than expected in the UAE. There's no doubt about that. I think we're quite aware of that. But I think I feel very confident about that. I think also the breakthrough we did today in Sweden with our first relationship with a health center that will actually bring in and use the Actis service in the healthcare provision is something that is very positive. Sweden has never been our primary market from that perspective, but we also want to focus on it from a perspective of it's our home market. We believe that we have something to offer, and it sort of comes back to the COVID-19 situation. I think that the COVID-19 situation, there's been a huge focus on intensive care, on really trying to save those people that got into that tough situation. But for us, we're in the next wave in that sense, because now I think we all realize that these types of pandemic situations is going to prevail. The healthcare systems need to adapt to that, and they need to help people with chronic diseases really see to it that they don't end up in the intensive care units. And that's where Actis, that's also where Camanio Care, it's also where Akumbo is. And Akumbo, I mean, the huge growth that they have received this year, where 80% of the people that die out of COVID-19 are basically people with hypertension or diabetes. So it's really an important impact in front of that perspective. And then we have Southeast Asia. The registration processes are underway, and we're going in that direction.
When do you think you will have more sales in Southeast Asia?
Well, in Southeast Asia, we cannot start selling until the registrations are in place. And those are ongoing.
Yeah. And you don't know, does the COVID-19, does it affect you guys? Or
No, I think that the COVID-19, the pilot that we're starting to roll out in Southeast Asia, probably early next year, is something that is actually a result of the COVID-19 initiative. So we got an exemption from the registration process to actually get that pilot underway in West Java. But I would say that the COVID-19 is not affecting in that perspective. I would like not to make a guess on Southeast Asia based on my experience in the UAE. Saudi Arabia, on the contrary, went much faster than we expected. So it's the regulatory processes are quite tough to predict.
Yeah, of course.
And I think
we'll have to wait and see. Right?
I've made that mistake before, and I'm not going to do it again.
No. When it comes to new markets, do you think this is enough? What you have to work on, or if we look into next year, or?
Well, I think that we have a very clear strategy on GCC, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. But at the same time, we are receiving quite a few inbound requests for distribution and for introduction into markets. So I wouldn't be surprised at some point if we actually communicate a deal which was not expected. But I don't want to go into any specific how do you say, timelines or countries or anything like that. But we do receive a lot of inbound requests.
Yeah. I have a question from the audience regarding Nectarine Health.
Yes.
And your plans of making a launch in the US.
Yes.
How are you planning to do that commercially? With partners or?
Yes, so Nectarine Health is a company that is really a B2C product offering. We started, or before we acquired Nectarine, the focus was really on senior homes and elderly homes.
Yeah.
And that is a very complex business environment with a lot of interconnections to other systems. So what we did this year as part of our acquisition was to streamline the whole product to be a truly B2C offering. But in order to reach the large sales opportunities in South Florida, Southern California, and other areas where there's a high concentration of elderly people in the US, we are focusing really on partnerships with home care providers.
Okay.
But not in the elderly home segment. So it's really about independent living, but with the access of the home care providers.
Yeah, okay. But there will still be a lot of focus on that next year, right?
For Nectarine, the focus is the US.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. Time is actually running out. I'm not sure that we're able to have any more questions.
Okay.
I think we'll wait and see see how it develops in Sweden and elsewhere. Very interesting. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, Mats, and thank you, Access Barna, for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.